This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com.
I'm Kathy Donaghy and welcome to Donegal TV. On this week's show, we have an exclusive interview with new Donegal GAA senior football team manager Rory Gallagher. We look at preparations for the Relay for Life event, and American football touches down in Donegal. But first, the new Northwest Regional Science Park is due to open in Letterkenny in June this year. Donegal TV was there at a special topping out celebration. The 20,000 square foot extension to the Letterkenny Institute of Technology's CoLab facility has the capacity to bring hundreds of new jobs to Donegal. Among those who attended yesterday's preview of the new building were Minister Joe McHugh, Mayor of Derry Brenda Stevenson, Deputy Padraig McLaughlin, Mark Durkin MP, as well as a host of local councillors.
We know that in the modern age people are talking about the importance of innovation. We know that the economy is transforming, and you want to create an environment that actually fosters innovation and actually that taps that innovation and allows people connect together. And the way in which science parks work is it means that somebody in one business are able to talk to people in others. It might even be just over coffee and in breakout areas or whatever, but it means then that your idea can bump into my problem on the way back from somebody else's funding information, and between the three you then have a way of moving forward, not just in your own separate businesses but maybe with ideas where you can literally collaborate together. And that's why this concept of CoLab here in Letterkenny in the heart of Donegal is so important. But the people who work here in this and the businesses that come here into this site won't just be partners with the other businesses on this site, they will be partners and members of the site too in Derry and of Belfast, so you get the added benefits of collaboration, and they get the full use not just of the facilities here but also in Derry and in Belfast.
This is a serious bit of infrastructure. The fact that it's on a campus that is an education campus, it makes it easier for people to go into the workforce. So a person coming from the secondary school goes to third level education, and then all of a sudden, without leaving the campus that they've got familiar with, they can set up a business within this campus. So it brings them into the workforce unwittingly or unknowingly, and all of a sudden they are part of the workforce, and then they take up their roots here and they have a foundation course, and then they go out into the workforce more prepared.
It's a great cross-border news story, so it is, and I suppose it's one of those realities that we've seen and we've begun to realise as we've moved forward and had the space in place in the Northwest through the peace process to start about looking at the collaboration with Donegal, and we've been doing it over a number of years now, but I suppose this is one of the tangible outcomes of that collaboration. And indeed going forward, as we do on the 1st of April, as Derry City Council moves into a new disposition with Strabane and we become a regional organisation, we are the natural hinterland here with Donegal, so it makes sense that we should be collaborating with our cross-border colleagues. And when we look forward to as well to the new rounds of European money that will be coming in, these natural partnerships will have to evolve as well. So this is the start of something very special, I think, that's happening in the Northwest area. It is bringing hope to the city, so it is. It's bringing hope to the Northwest region. It's creating employment. It's creating sustainable jobs, and it's in an area where unemployment is so high. I think that we need to keep working at this, keeping the cross-border partnerships going and creating a hope for the future. So I'm delighted to be here as the last ever Mayor of Derry to be able to sign off on this today. It's fantastic.
Guests were given a sneak preview of the facility, which is supported by the European Union's Interreg 4 programme.
One of the unique selling points that we have to look for, in particular with the Interreg 4A programme, is that there's very strong cross-border cooperation, and we're really looking for projects that are going to help create sustainable economic growth within the region on a cross-border basis. So this project is an amazing contribution towards that particular objective and helping to provide facilities for businesses to be entrepreneurial and really stretch out on an international basis and help them to grow.
The new extension will provide ready-made offices as well as shared desk space for up-and-coming businesses. The new facility will also be equipped with the latest high-speed internet connectivity, video conferencing facilities and meeting rooms. A number of companies are already in negotiations with a view to moving into the facility. One company who have already been confirmed as a future tenant of the new science park is the Massachusetts Medical Device Development Centre, M2D2. President of the Letterkenny Institute, Paul Hannigan, paid tribute to all those involved in the project and stressed the cross-border cooperation between all parties.
It's great when a project such as this comes to fruition. A lot of hard work goes into it, a lot of people working behind the scenes to make sure that everything is in place to regards the funding, the planning, the architectural development of the building. But the most important thing from my perspective is to create opportunities within the region in which we operate. We've worked very hard to develop cross-border collaboration over the years. It's never easy. People think it's intuitive and it should be easy. It is never easy. There's a lot of work involved in it, and it really needs some political recognition that people are really trying to do this on an ongoing basis, and this is a huge success today. From Letterkenny IT perspective, and personally from my own perspective, it really is a proud moment. We think this will make a huge contribution to regional development here, huge contribution to graduate employment, offer opportunities to our own graduates to stay in the region and create further jobs and further wealth, and that can only benefit everybody.
Relay for Life Donegal, the major fundraising initiative that remembers those who have succumbed to cancer and celebrates those who have overcome it, is gearing up again. This year's relay takes place on the 30th and the 31st of May. Donegal TV was at its recent launch night.
I just love Relay. I love the event, and I love the people of Donegal and the support they give, and I know, because I work closely with the committee, how hard and effort and work, so much work that they put into it. It will be a success. The people of Donegal will come out. We have more and more survivors, sadly, but we do have more and more survivors and caregivers who are able to come to the event, make it a great success. We have everything here in Donegal to make it a success, and I'm very confident that 2015 will be bigger and better than other years.
Over the 3 years we've raised about €862,000 and it's fantastic, and one of those years was exclusively for research, and you heard people talking here tonight, particularly cancer survivors, that research is their hope for the future and that a cure has to be found for this disease, and I believe it will be. I do believe in the next 20-25 years at most there will be a cure found for this horrible disease, and I hope that we all can say that, well, we've played our part in that.
I think what Relay does more than anything, it encapsulates every part of life, because life is up and down. Life is emotional, it's a roller coaster, life has its high points, its low points. A Relay weekend, in a sense, almost sort of synthesises that into 24 hours. There are parts which are immensely powerful. The Luminaria ceremony with the candles, it's immensely powerful. I mean, I defy anyone to witness that, to go through it and not feel a lump in the throat and not feel the need to wipe the eye at some point. It's hugely emotional, but by the same token, you will smile, you will laugh, and you'll talk to people. You'll walk around, you'll bump into people you don't know, you'll chat with them, you'll forge friendships, you'll make friends, you'll talk, you'll communicate, and the pressures of life are going to be left behind. In a sense, you walk into this world where everyone is pulling for the same thing, everyone is rooting together, and there's a shared sense of purpose, and there's a sense of achievement. There's a sense that you're doing something that matters, you're doing something of value, and to be part of something like that, I think, is important for everybody.
The rough and tumble of American football is on its way to Donegal. Charlie Collins got up close and personal when he visited the Donegal Dairy Vipers at a training session in Burnfoot recently.
Well, this weekend, the biggest date on the American football calendar, the Super Bowl, and it's the 49th one, takes place in Phoenix, Arizona, between the defending champions, the Seattle Seahawks, and the New England Patriots. But much closer to home here in the Northwest, for the first time ever, an American football team has been put together to take part in the Irish American Football League. The Derry Donegal Vipers is an idea of Cathal Curran and a few of his friends, and we went along to one of their training sessions at the Alec Football Club in Burnfoot just to see what it's all about.
Left centre, White Buffalo, on one, break.
Yeah, well, it came about by chance, really. I was just online and I seen the IAFA, seen a league structure, and I went in and I just thought, Jesus, this is amazing. And I looked around. There's a team in Tyrone, the Tyrone Titans. There was no team in Donegal or Derry. So I thought, something we might as well enter one here,
Yeah.
and see, because it's on Sky Sports now. It's on Channel 4. This football, it is a growing sport. It's the fastest growing sport in the world.
This Irish American Football League was a bit of a secret because to be honest, I'd never heard of it either, and it's interesting just how many teams are actually there at the moment.
Yeah, the league's going 35 years. It's been mostly in Dublin. It started off in. Belfast Trojans, it's been in Belfast right but too as well, and the Carrickfergus Knights, they're going about 20-30 years as well, so we've got talented guys out there, and if they have a crack at the sport, I reckon, there's a Shamrock Bowl, which is pretty much like the Super Bowl here. A couple of years to come, it could be a Donegal Derry team winning the Shamrock Bowl,
Yeah.
We can do it.
I've been around the game my whole life, the first thing I remember doing is catching a football for my brother, and I followed the game avidly, so feel like I'm suited for this job. Those who can't do teach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. American football is a huge sport in the States, obviously, with a huge following, and it's gone worldwide now. They've taken the game to different countries as well, including Ireland. So can you see the prospect of a team here from Donegal and Derry competing on a regular basis?
Oh, absolutely. This area is maybe an untapped gem of talent. There's a lot of fast guys, a lot of physical guys, a lot of guys who they come from other backgrounds, Gaelic and rugby and things like that, which carry over some skill sets, that we need for American football. But it's like I say, it's an untapped gem.
There's a place for everyone on this team, from 30 stone to 8 stone. You need your blockers, you need your runners, you need your sprinters, you need everything. We're going to try and get them all at around the same fitness level, but obviously the bigger guys won't be able to get up to that actual level itself, But the fit guys will get fitter, and the bigger guys will get fitter as well.
It's a very exciting prospect here to have the opportunity to play this game. Obviously, you're a big fan of the game.
I'm a Patriots fan, so I've been following the game for probably about 5 or 6 years now, and every game I've watched, more and more liking it and wanting to. It's like I wanted to play, but it's like to have to go to the States to play it, or then they seen the thing up, and it's like, oh, I'm definitely trying this.
Yeah. Did you get a bit of a surprise when you saw the stuff that Cahill had up in terms of trying to put together a team here?
No, he did it very well. He had it very organised, and he did it. He knew what he was doing. It seemed like, so it was great to see.
Yeah.
And very organised, so I was happy.
The early signs are very positive about this team actually being able to get going and competing.
Yeah, well, hopefully now. There's almost 50 at the first training, and then with the bad weather last week, there was still a good turnout, and then this week again, you can see there's a good turnout. So hopefully it keeps up and we can get a good team going.
It's one of the most ambitious plans that I've heard for a long time, Cahill. How confident are you guys are going to be able to carry this through? The early signs are pretty good, but we know when things get up and running, sometimes these things can be a real challenge.
We'll be very confident now. Coming up to the first training session, we had a lot of hits on the internet site, on the Facebook and Twitter and all. There was a lot of hype about it, but I was thinking this could just be people, this just could be people thinking, oh, this is a great idea. I'm not following through. But come the first training session, they see 47 guys come in. They see people taking out membership the last 2 weeks. This is going to work. We've got the men, we've got the right man in place, Jason Brock, a man who knows the sport. So we've got all the ingredients. We just have to get the players kitted.
Well, there you have it. Loads of effort and enthusiasm from the Donegal and Derry Vipers as they prepare for the Irish American Football League, which gets underway in March. This is Charlie Collins for Donegal TV at the Alec Football Grounds in Burnfoot.
This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com. Advertise now on Donegal TV, broadcasting worldwide. Email info@donegaltv.ie or call 00353 86 406 3770. DonegalDaily.com, Donegal's largest news website. For up-to-date news, sport and events from Donegal, click DonegalDaily.com. Hyundai is Ireland's fastest growing car brand. See the full range of new Hyundai models and a wide selection of used cars at T. Diver & Sons Limited, Canal Road, Letterkenny. 00353 7491 22600. Celebrating 30 years in the motor business, Diver's Garage with Hyundai, Ireland's fastest growing car brand.
CoLab, turning knowledge into enterprise. Home to your new business idea. Located at Letterkenny Institute of Technology. Create your own future and choose CoLab as the home for your innovation and technology business idea. Visit colab.ie. Your business journey begins here.
Thinking of buying a Sony TV, tablet, camera or sound system? Sony Centre Letterkenny will not be beaten on price, advice or service. Call Sony Centre Letterkenny on 0035374 9113377. Sony, make believe. This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com.
Welcome back to part 2 of the programme. Donegal GAA senior football team manager Rory Gallagher is preparing for his first year at the helm. Charlie Collins spoke exclusively to Rory as he prepares to take on the job.
After 4 successful years under Jim McGuinness, a new era begins in earnest on Saturday night at McCool Park when Donegal host Derry in the National Football League, with Jim's former number 2, Rory Gallagher, in charge. The Killybegs-based Fermanagh man didn't have to think too long about his desire to take over, despite knowing the high level of expectation that will come with the job.
Well, Charlie, probably felt once Jim stepped down, that it was something that I would like to do. I had 3 great years working with the lads, and then another year with under 21. So it was very appealing to me, having been involved and enjoyed a lot of success with the boys and knowing what they're about. So while it might have taken a wee while, for my name to come into the public debate, it was something I was thinking hard about, and probably my gut was always telling me it was something I would like to do.
I know you're somebody that's pretty meticulous about the way he approaches things and does things, Rory. Obviously, when your name did become public, there was a sense of relief because, with all due respect to everybody else, the general feeling in the county was they wanted Rory Gallagher to take on the job. That's all very fine, but that puts a bit of pressure on you as well.
Good, yeah. Look, there's pressure at the end of the day with the level that Donegal are at, and look, it's good to know that there's a lot of people behind me, and I felt there was a lot of goodwill, from people towards me. But the bottom line is now we're starting at the start of the year. We have a very high expectancy in the county, but that's something that I enjoy. We've put ourselves in a position over the last 4 or 5 years that we've had a fair level of success, and that's what it's appealing to me. It's nice to be in a position where you can realistically be seen as someone that can challenge for honours, and that's what we're doing our best to achieve.
Yeah, because you were part of this. You've taken over a team that were in 4 Ulster finals in the last 4 years and 2 All-Ireland finals in the last 3 years as well. I was just thinking about this, Rory. We had a couple of managers change there in the Premier Division across Channel, but they took over teams at the bottom, so some might say there's only one way they can go. You've taken over a team very much near the top, so is there only one way you can go?
Well, we weren't quite at the top, so definitely don't want to fall back, at all. We've had a couple of unbelievable years probably for a county like Donegal. Other than that, they've only been in 1 All-Ireland final, but that's the level that these boys have set themselves. They don't want to fall back. It's going to be a job to stay at that level and to improve and hopefully go one better. So that's the ultimate aim for teams like ourselves, the teams that are operating in Division 1. But it's an exciting chapter, and I know the players are looking forward. They've enjoyed being at the level they've been at, and they live their lives now in such a way that that's the way they want to be.
We've had the McKenna Cup and you 2 1s out of 3, and you used a lot of players in that, and the league gets underway, and we've had a yo-yo sort of a career in the league in the last few years, up and down and up and down. What's the expectation in terms of Rory Gallagher's team going into the National League?
Well, look, any time we got, a couple of years ago when we got to Division 1, it was about trying to survive in Division 1. At the minute it's kind of broken into 2 games in the space of a week and then a 3-week break. So we'll very much look at the first 2 games in isolation. We'll do our utmost to get 2 results there if we can. So it is. But look, survival will be the number 1 aim if we made the playoffs after that. But as you say, we're had yo-yo starts in it. I think when I was involved with Jim, we drew our first game in Division 2, and the following 2 years we lost both our opening games. So we're hoping to buck that trend this year from my own point of view, that hopefully that we can get off to a win. But Derry's going to be a formidable challenge. I think they were National League finalists last year. We played them in the Championship last year. I think there was only one score in it, so that's going to present a huge test on Saturday night.
Yeah, and so the situation with the league, Rory, is I suppose apart from Dublin, who have a huge squad, teams that have been successful in the league really haven't been successful in the Championship. So trying to get the balance between surviving in the league and then going more or less straight into the Championship is always a difficult one.
It is difficult, so it is. It's very hard to be at your best from the 31st of January, 1st of February, right through to, we're playing on May the 17th, and to continue that. So, counties gear their training. With Dublin have so many players, they're probably the exception to the rule. Kerry ended up being the biggest winners last year. I think very few of their so-called star players played much league football last year, and they ended up being at their best towards the end of the summer. But look, we'll try to manage the workload of our players, but at the same time try to get results and bring on a few new lads. That's probably the ultimate aim, to try to survive in the division and bring on 3 or 4 players that'll be of benefit to you in the Championship.
The league really about nursing those older players, more experienced players through, and trying to find 2 or 3 players that'll add to your squad and trying to survive in Division 1. Would that be a fair summary?
That'd be it. To try to get results that'll allow us to stay in the division. If we make the playoffs, well and good. So it is, and at the same time bring on 3, 4, 5 players that hopefully can become part of our top 22 or 3 players. It'd be great to if we could find more, and at the same time give our experienced players enough game time that they're sharp coming into Championship.
Rory, knowing you as I do, I know that you're a pragmatic sort of a person, and you'll know very well whatever happens now in the league games, you'll really be judged on what happens in the Championship, and that's going to start in May. The draw couldn't be tougher, really. Tyrone again, which seems to be an annual thing now, and beyond that very, very tough run if you manage to get to an Ulster final. You couldn't ask for a tougher start, really.
No, it's a very tough start. I remember my name wasn't quite thrown into the hat, and I was down in Dublin. It was my wedding anniversary, and with my wife, and the draw has been made that day, and she said, what if you get Tyrone? And I said, well, look, that can't affect our thinking. If it's something I want to do, it doesn't matter. And as the names kept rolling out, if you were to progress through it, it didn't get any easier.
Did you think about changing your mind?
No, I didn't. No, I definitely didn't. Met a few people in Dublin that thought it would be a crazy move that night then, But no, look, that's part of the challenge. It's very exciting, the way we look at it as a group. Tyrone coming to Ballabufey, in mid-May. It's an unbelievable, challenge for ourselves. We had a brilliant experience 2 years ago playing them, as All-Ireland champions. I think there's a healthy rivalry there, so there is. And look, if we get over that, we'll face the next hurdle after that.
I'll tell you, when I saw the draw, my first instinct was we'll be better in the qualifiers. Let Tyrone beat us and get a nice run through the qualifiers. But I know people like yourself and the players don't think that way. And I mean, having spoken to a few of the players, it's interesting to get their perspective. You're better going through the front door. They want that challenge, and I suppose that's what they've become used to, which is a big plus.
Yeah, exactly. Over the last few years, they've been very used to it. The back door just hasn't really been an option. They've been in 4 Ulster finals in a row, and there's a great I suppose excitement, and there's huge pride in Ulster, so there is. I'm sure it's the same in a lot of counties, but the buzz of going to Ballabufey or going to Athletic Grounds or going to Clonus is second to none, and that's what the boys grew up wanting to do, and that hasn't changed. They're now men, but they're still like young lads just wanting to go out and play a game of football on a big occasion. And look, if we don't go through Ulster, well and good, we deal with that, but at the minute Ulster is very much on the priority.
Do you believe that Donegal are still good enough to compete the way they've competed for the last 3 or 4 years now?
I'd have no doubt, Charlie. Look, time will tell, but I believe last year Donegal operated at a very high level. I think they gave some terrific performances. Ultimately they came up a little short, but that's the challenge now again, and that's the exciting thing. Every day you go out in football, you have to prove yourself. What you've done in the past is no good to you. Dublin, Kerry, Mayo, they're all in the exact same boat as ourselves, starting out with the ultimate aim of being there at the end of September. Yeah. But you can only take one game at a time, and that's starting Saturday night now. We want to be as competitive as we can. We want to try to improve week on week. It's a long time even between now and the start of the Championship, but we'll use every week as an opportunity to try to improve.
And in terms of your backroom team, you've brought in some interesting decisions there as well. Somebody new this week, and Gary McDade, who's been very successful, of course, with Glenswally. What was your thinking in putting the backroom team together? Was it people that you felt that Rory Gallagher could work with, or was it people that you thought maybe could shake you up from time to time?
Oh, well, there's a bit of both, Charlie. I suppose I set out, when I decided, number one, that I was going to go for the job, and said, what would I want as part of a backroom backroom team, you know. And then I tried to fit I built a profile of the type of people that I wanted, and then I tried to get an individual that I felt would suit it. And Gary, I felt, has been very successful in Donegal over the last number of years. I think he managed Glenspilly for 3 championship seasons. He got won 2 county titles and got beaten in a final, and he brought them obviously to an Ulster club final. What excites me about Gary is he's got the most out of the resources available to him, which is what management's about. They played different styles of play over his duration when he was there, so that was one that we had put to bed very early. And then I wanted a coach that would bring maybe a different perspective to myself and Gary. Donegal have a very sort of systematic style of play over the last number of years. We've been involved with club teams who have played a very similar style. Wanted to get an outside perspective on it as well. And Jack's somebody who he would have met over the years in Kilcar, and he would have been very much down in Towdy sometimes when we were training and things like that. So I'm delighted to have him on board. He just had to get his own end sorted with regards to work and being able to commit to the travel with his family and that. So look, we've settled in well over the last couple of weeks now, and we're really looking forward to it.
I'll go back to what I mentioned at the start. I mean, you could have come in at a better time because you're following Jim McGuinness, and his legacy is going to be there forever now. That's a tough one to follow, Rory. But the very fact that you wanted to go for the job, I suppose, speaks volumes about your commitment to it. Is it all about your own legacy now, really? This is a new era that we're into with Donegal? It's the same group of players, but it's a new management team. And I am always of the opinion sometimes managers get too much praise when teams do well and too much criticism when teams do badly, because it's a joint effort. What is Rory Gallagher hoping to get out of this? Because I suppose you were made for management, the type of personality you are. Ultimately, you were going to manage an inter-county team.
Well, yeah, it's something, Charlie, that I obviously probably felt as my career was winding down, that it's something I'd like to get into, but I think you made the point yourself there. It's not about one individual. Jim would have said himself he was very much part of a group, so he was, and that's the same for myself. You sign up to be part of a team, the title is almost irrelevant, whether you're a captain as a player, whether you're a sub, whether you're a goalkeeper, and it's the same. I just see myself as part of the whole setup, so I do. Yes, ultimately the buck stops with myself to making decisions, but I feel they've built a very strong team around me from a point of view of a coaching team, a medical team, a video analysis team. We're all part of it together with the players. There's a big group of people all pulling, aiming for the one direction. There's a certain element of pressure, and the media latch on to the manager as being the head of that, but that's part of it. It was almost unique in Donegal there, for the 3 years I was involved in. It was almost win-win-win in the championship. It was a phenomenal record, so it was. I think under Jim we won 14 out of the first 15 championship matches, which, the All Blacks barely do that, so they do. So I'll settle for that again.
And a final question, if we were sitting here in a year's time in January 2016, reflecting back in 2015, and I asked you, what was the most successful part of it? What did you get out of it? What you wanted? What would you say to me?
Well, look, ultimately you want to be remembered as a team that give absolutely everything to be the best they could be. And if that's good enough, that's good enough. There can only be one winner at the end of the year. I don't see Donegal in 2014 of being a failure. I feel they were very successful. They won an Ulster Championship, they got to an All-Ireland final, but they came up short. We don't know, we've no guarantees how the season is going to go, but we have to do as a management team and as a group with the players together, we have to do absolutely everything we can to be successful, because that gives us the greatest enjoyment when you are successful. And we want the supporters, we want our families to be proud of the effort that we've given, and hopefully if we do all that and with a small bit of luck we can be successful.
Charlie Collins for Donegal TV with the Donegal senior football squad in Castlefin.
That's it for this week's show. We hope you enjoyed the programme. Remember, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or check us out online at donegaltv.ie. Until next time, Slán agus Banat.
This programme is sponsored by Triona Design, the Donegal Tweed and Visitor Centre, Ardra, County Donegal. TrionaDesign.com. Hyundai is Ireland's fastest growing car brand. See the full range of new Hyundai models and a wide selection of used cars at T. Diver & Sons Limited, Canal Road, Letterkenny. 00353 7491 22600. Celebrating 30 years in the motor business, Diver's Garage with Hyundai. Ireland's fastest growing car brand. Thinking of buying a Sony TV, tablet, camera or sound system? Sony Centre Letterkenny will not be beaten on price, advice or service. Call Sony Centre Letterkenny on 0035374 9113377. Sony, make believe. Advertise now on Donegal TV, broadcasting worldwide. Email info@donegaltv.ie or call 00353 86 406 3770.